you're holding them accountable. So I just want to encourage you folks that myself, you know, my activism has been to run for office because I have not found that it works to talk to them. It doesn't work. From my perspective, what I found is that power only understands one thing. It understands power being taken away. That's all it understands. So you are the people. It is your government. It is your country. And I just want to encourage you to take that step. You have some people here who are going to do it, and you need to rally around them and encircle them and really have to put your hand out, meaning working. You have to use your voice, and you have to empty your pocketbook to make it happen. But you can make a statement against these guys. So I just want to encourage you. God bless you. Thank you.
Also want to thank you and thank other patriots who understand that around our state and around our country for standing up to it, for seeing it for what it is. And in this state in particular, in Michigan, I don't know if you guys know this, but the grassroots around the state has been working very hard to keep Obamacare out of Michigan. We have been able to stop the state exchanges that our governor wanted very badly. We were able to stop the federal partnership. That was the next step to bring in Obamacare. And we were able to really slow down that Medicaid expansion and give it a good fight. And I'll tell you what, driving here tonight, the Senate was voting on that today. A lot of you guys know, right? So it was killing me because I couldn't watch it on my phone, right? Because if my phone wouldn't do that, wouldn't let me watch it live. So I'm just waiting for the Facebook posts and, you know, the iMessages and that, what's going on? And when we walked in, and I don't know if anyone, you know, has an update, but as when the meeting started, it was 1918, and it still hadn't passed yet, but I'd heard that they were gonna reconsider, and so there's still a possibility, so we need to keep the heat on, and Lord, I pray that they didn't pass it tonight, but if not, what a victory, and what an opportunity. Because if we can stop that Medicaid expansion, which is a conduit for Obamacare in our nation, what an opportunity we have as Michigan, as a state, to lead the nation in looking at free market solutions that will benefit all Michigan citizens. And I don't know if you guys know about this, but there are other states that are looking at free market solutions. And in fact, in Michigan and Ann Arbor, there was a big convention with Docs for Patient Care, and doctors came from all around the country. And they're starting to look at these solutions. And if we can stop these Obama conduits from happening, then we have that opportunity to start looking at free market solutions. So keep up the heat. It is working. It has been working. And I just want to encourage you to stay strong in that.
I think in order to stay on schedule, we've got time for maybe one more question. Please fill out your forms and leave those or pass them to somebody at the table. We'll make sure that those all get passed to Congressman Upton. They've got free copies of the Constitution there. I would also recommend you take a look at Hillsdale College website. They have ongoing free seminars on the Constitution, history of the Constitution, and how to interpret it. Man.
I'm with the Van Tea Party. I'm a precinct delegate for South Haven. Mr. Upton, I have emailed you many times. And what has surprised me is that on TV, you've got this ad running. And that tells me you're afraid because you've started running it so soon. I've never seen anything being run so soon. So if you get someone here to run, great. The thing that I would like to address is Common Core and education. I listened to WLS, and not this week sometime, a woman called in because Illinois has adopted Common Core. And she said, besides the other things that go on in Common Core, which are not good for our kids, what's happening is that parents have to pay for all the equipment that goes along with it. And I understand this is very, very expensive. And then I would like to address something that I ran into last month. We have our students who go to college who have these big student loans. I was in physical therapy, and someone from another country was doing it. And I said, why did you come? What got you here? Well, he had his bachelor's degree. It seems that Marquette University, Northern University, paid for his wife, paid for his daughter, had him come here, paid for all of his education, paid for his living expenses. And now he has a job, taking away from one of our students that could have had that job. I think our colleges need to be looked into because of this. And the other thing that I would like to address is that I think these people who are in Congress, who are in control, and let me back up first. I did hear that Obamacare, the reason the Congress didn't want to do it was because they couldn't afford it. I think the figures were 70,000, they only made 70,000 to 170,000 per year, and they couldn't afford it. But us people who live under that, we can afford it. So I say they're living like kings while we're living like paupers eventually.
Thank you very much.
I've been doing a lot of research on Common Core, and it appears that Common Core is a complete dissolution of all local control of our education system. Back east, and I'm from Maryland, those of you that don't know me, I was born in DC and I was raised by a bunch of Democrats. And I went to college on a Democrat scholarship, and I saw the light when I was about 35 years old, and I came to the right side. And I'm so glad that I did.
So are we.
Yeah. So Common Core, what it really does is it gets in there and sets a standard for everyone to follow. And like they did back east, where everything went from a county superintendent and a state education system, and you had absolutely no control and no say over what happened in your local school. And we all pay local school taxes, and I moved to Lakeshore schools because I wanted my kids to go to Lakeshore schools, and I pay taxes for those schools, and I have control over what's taught and how it's taught in those schools by living in that area. But Common Core takes all that away. And it pretty much does away with the entire, under the superstructure of our education system. It says, this is what you'll teach, and this is how you teach it, and these are the books you're going to use. And they claim that you have a say to be able to change that. But all you do is have a say to ask them to change that. It doesn't give you any right to change it, and it doesn't give you any authority to get in there and change anything that you don't like that's being taught. So Common Core from the nub, even though it was started on a quote-unquote grassroots, National Governors Association, nonpartisan, non-political, non-U.S. government, however they want to try to hide themselves, it is what it is. And to call the kettle anything other than that is just telling a lie to yourself. So we need to really try, even if and I understand we did beat the Medicaid expansion tonight, but I don't have actual numbers on it either. The next step is to keep this Common Core from coming into Michigan. Even though we've already agreed to it, we can undo it, and we need to do that, and then start working on Agenda 21. And those that don't know about that, Google it or ping it.
I think there's some information on Agenda 21 at the table.
Yeah, we have some information at the table. We have some on Common Core? Yes, so you can pick up some information about that in Agenda 21. It's a little postcard, so get connected to that. I wanted to make a comment regarding a question that was about the Constitution being stepped on a daily basis. I think that's a good observation, and it scares me because judges are legislating from the bench. Obama issued executive orders and that are unconstitutional, and he is violating the Constitution on a daily basis, implementing part of Obamacare and not implementing other parts. and so forth and so on. I think it's time to do something rather dramatic, and I highly recommend you get Mark Levin's book called The Liberty Amendments.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know how many people are familiar with this, but he's got 11 amendments that he thinks are necessary to restore America to its Republican, small r Republican system. Restoring the American Republic, small r. And his first amendment is term limits. So that'd be a good place to start.
We were still hung up on Medicaid expansion.
You were still hung up on Medicaid expansion, okay. Real quick, there were two questions about the Obamacare. That nice lady from Van Cal, from the Tea Party, thank you for your question. We also think from a conservative point of view, the panel does, that that's not right. If we are going to have an insurance system like that, and that's what it is, it's going to an insurance system, everybody should pay their way. There shouldn't be some who live under and some who do not. You know, it goes back to the old, actually goes back to the French Revolution. You know, there was noblesse oblige. You know, the people that were noble, they got one place and the other people had another strata. As a conservative, I would say that that's incorrect. Going back to the question of student loans, I just don't think that that's right. Those are state schools. Northern University is a state school. It's chartered that way. I believe it was chartered at the end of the Lincoln administration. He first wrote that. And I believe those belong to us. We pay the taxes for that, and I don't think it's right. I think that those should be run in a fair and equitable and free market way. There shouldn't be any subsidies in it. Does anybody want to add to that?
Amen. I think I want to say one thing.
Yes, sir.
I think my point was, if Obamacare goes through, if they're all under, we're all going to be slaves.
We're trying to find out exactly how the vote was in the Senate, but someone just got a text message a little while ago that it was 20 yay, 18 nay.
19 to 18.
Was that on the vote to reconsider or the actual bill?
That was on the vote to reconsider.
That was the vote to reconsider? They haven't taken up the bill yet?
And then they adjourned.
And then they adjourned?
Yes.
Okay, so we're still up in the air.
Yeah, state adjourned.
I think you can wrap up now.
Well, actually, the city's going to go.
Oh.
You're going to push through big hours, like kidding, so
You want to keep on,
they don't know where
you
to
guys can travel. We're going to have some wrap-up comments, and then there are, and then we're going to pledge something else. And then cookies and tea. Y'all can have tea, I'll take the cookies.
Sherry had asked me to come and speak to you guys just for a few minutes and have some wrap-up comments. And, you know, I really appreciated you bringing up your first meeting in the beach and whoever did that. How many of you here were there when it first started back in 2009?
Stand up.
Go ahead, stand up. That's awesome. You know, even better yet, look at all the new people you've reached. And, you know, I always like to go back and look at where we started and to get perspective on where we are and where we're going. And I had my first Tea Party on April 15th in 2009 too, and I've really been honored and blessed to be able to go around the state and visit other Tea Party leaders and sit down and get to hear their story. And it really is incredible to go hear all the stories. You guys have your own story, and it's fascinating. And I've never met another group that had their first meeting on a beach. I mean, that's really cool. So that'll be in my story. But
Well, you know what they did in the 60s then?
yeah.
We didn't have the pills though.
But I just want to encourage you tonight. I did have an opportunity to talk with Fred Upton while he's been on break. It wasn't planned, and it was kind of unexpected, but he came and visited our Allegan GOP Executive Committee meeting on short notice. I didn't know he was going to be there, neither did most of the people. There were certain people that knew he was going to be there. And so he was there. And he gave his talking points about why we can't shut down the government, and someone had referred to that. He didn't talk about non-essentials, he only talked about cutting essentials, and how most of the people that he's talked to since he's been on break have said we cannot shut down the government. So they didn't leave time for question and answer. So he got up, he said the Democrat his talking points, and they didn't give anybody time to question and answer, and that was it. And then he sat down. Well, lucky for me, I was announcing my run for state rep that night, and so I got to go up and speak to everybody, including Fred Upton, who was in the audience. So it was kind of really neat. And you know, what I had planned on saying that night was one of the reasons I'm running is because I believe that our federal government is completely out of touch with American citizens. And I believe that the only way to maintain our republic is to have strong states. Strong states that'll say no to the federal government mandates and policies and everything that they're trying to push down our throats. But in order to have strong states, we need to send strong people to our state house and our state senate who will not capitulate and who will not bow down to the lobbyists and the cash and the twisting of arms and everything that happens behind closed doors. And I'll just tell you this, from being around the state, Michigan is really blessed. We have term limits and we have 15 open seats that are held by Republicans. And so what that means is in those seats, it's just about anybody's race. And we have a lot of great conservatives around the state that are stepping up to run for these open seats. But they need your help. We need your help. Someone here tonight said we needed to stand united. And we absolutely do. That's where we get our strength. That's where we get our power. We need to stand united with these conservatives who are stepping up in all these different elections, some state house, some commissioners, township board, wherever they may be. Get involved and help them. And I believe that tonight, this is what freedom is all about. You know, when we first started the Tea Parties back in 2009, I was talking to another Tea Party leader a month or two ago, and we were reminiscing on that. And, you know, at that time, we didn't know it would continue. I didn't even know what a Tea Party was. But I felt called and compelled to have one. And we thought it was just going to be a meeting at the steps, and 2,000 of them were happening around the country. And we would all, you know, get our voices heard, and the government would stop doing the stupid stuff they're doing and, you know, turn from their wicked ways, right? And repent. But, you know, we all know what happened. That didn't happen. And so we kept going and we kept going. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad that didn't happen then. Because this has changed my life. I don't know about you guys, but if it would have happened then, we would have all just went back home, doing our normal stuff. I wasn't very informed then. I mean, I kind of knew some of the things that were going on, but I have studied my Constitution, founding documents, founding fathers, and I can't even tell you how many hours I've spent reading legislation and advocating for and against, and getting to know my representatives and going to the Capitol and all those different things. I believe that's what freedom is all about. Because we cannot have freedom if we do not have informed and engaged citizens. And that is what we've become. And we need to continue to do that, engage and inform our communities, and continue to reach out to others. Thank you, and God bless you guys for coming tonight. But this is really what freedom's all about. And so I hope Fred hears the message loud and clear, but if not, it's up to us to take back our state. And it's up to the others in the other states to take theirs. And I do talk with Tea Party leaders around the nation, and this is happening everywhere. So even though we're just in this corner of the woods right now, being